All right, everyone, welcome back into another props video. Give me a touch on the top prop bets for this Friday college football slate. Let's go ahead and get into it. And so we start off with a little bit of a slate preview. What we're going to notice is that it is going to be a 4-game slate. So it's a much smaller slate than the Thursday slate, where we had at least 9 games going and about 4 to be able to bet on. This is going to be a little bit tighter in terms of the games that we have available to bet on. And just looking at where I think the best starting point is going to be, it's going to be with the Wisconsin Badgers. They're kind of my team that I follow for college football the most. So I think it's a good starting point. And you guys will notice that basically all the top prop bets that we are getting on this slate fall to the Wisconsin Badgers. So it's kind of a good thing there. Now let's go ahead and start out with their tight end here. I don't know if we exactly need to go in on him as a prop bet. I think we can kind of stay away from him. But these next two are going to be the most interesting too. We got Will Pauling for over his receptions. Okay. What we're going to notice is that he's projected to be about 6.9. At the line of 5.5, though, he has a 53% chance to get that. And so already this is going to be one that I think is naturally a pretty good one. Obviously, guys, on a 4-game slate, we're not going to have most likely that many good EV bets because it's such a concentrated slate that PrizePicks Underdog, they'll be able to adjust their lines correctly and appropriately. But this is one that's been there for quite some time, and I feel like it's a pretty big edge. And Pauling is going to be the receiver number 1 here for the Wisconsin Badgers in this somewhat pass-heavy offense. We'll see if that still holds true. It's expected to. Now, there has been a little bit of change with the Badgers. Their starting quarterback from last year is gone, Tanner Mordecai, replaced with Miami, Florida quarterback Tyler Van Dyke. Braylon Allen is obviously with the Jets, their running back. They do have Ches Mussolini back, who was a really good-looking running back that got injured last year. So there is a little bit of changing. And then obviously the Badgers did have a little bit of reshaping of the receiver room, but the two players that we know for sure kind of what to expect are Will Pauling and Bryson Green. You look at the game log from Will Pauling from last year, and you can kind of see that when the other receivers that are no longer there were out, Pauling had some of his best games, and you see that with LSU as well. 8 receptions in that game, 143 receiving yards in that game. He should be able to go off in this game. Now, if you look at his game log last year, while not being the receiver number 1 in the offense, he still was able to get this over 6 out of 13 times. Now, that might not seem like much, but kind of in the Big Ten, I would say that is pretty solid. And so I do agree. This is probably going to be one of the better prop bets that we have for his over receptions. I'm happy to go out and use that bet. Now, the one concern is going to be, look at this game spread. Game total is going to be 56.5. Okay, that's obviously a high game total, but the team spread, they're favored to win by 24 points. So the biggest concern a lot of the times with college football is going to be these games potentially blowing out, or when these games blow out. Okay, so I'm not arguing with the line of being 24, but when does that occur? Is it right away? Is it towards the fourth quarter? And obviously, if they are blowing them out right away, that might limit the amount of pass attempts that Wisconsin Badgers are going to do. So I don't know, maybe we don't want to go in on both of them, but these both are going to be good prop bets on paper for us to bet the over with. So the next one is going to be Bryson Green, who should fall into the receiver number 2 now here for the Wisconsin Badgers as well. And for what it's worth, guys, if you guys are playing on DraftKings, whatever, college football, pretty good salaries for those two. They should be able to go out and have a good game as well. So looking at it, guys, basically the exact same things that I just said for Will Pauling also are going to apply for Bryson Green. He's just going to be the receiver number 2 here, but we saw him step up with those other receivers that are gone when they were out last year. He was someone that did step up, and he's expected to take over that receiver number 2 spot in an offense that is still going to be pretty pass heavy. Now, you look at this line that we're getting for him, 3.5 receptions. He only got that over 4 times. But again, there's 2 receivers missing, Skyler Bell and DK. And those were 2 players that got a lot of snaps for them. I thought DK was their best receiver. And so now those 2 are gone, and insert Bryson Green and Will Pauling into a pretty sizable workload. And these lines to me just seem too low in that regard. Now, I do want to bring up Tyler Van Dyke as well. I'm not exactly sure we need to go in on his over passing yards, although I feel like it is a pretty solid line that we are getting with him, especially given the competition that he's going against. Now, you look at the Badgers quarterback from last year, Tanner Mordecai. He is someone that maybe, ran the ball a little bit more. He only averaged 205.5 passing yards per game last year through 10 starts. Now, again, I think that has to do a little bit with his style of play, a little bit of competition as well, and also the fact that you had Braylon Allen there. But that to me is probably just going to be a stay away. I actually don't mind the idea of getting on Ches for his over rush yards, or potentially his over rush and receiving yards. I do think there's a chance that he gets a reception in this game, which then would mean that his over rushing receiving yards is not a bad line. But he is presumed to be the running back number 1 for the Wisconsin Badgers. Now, proceed with a little bit of caution there. He should be the running back number 1, but they did bring in Walker, who has been impressive, I guess, in fall camp and I guess summer camp and spring camp for the Badgers. And they also have Jackson Ecker, who was pretty decent, filling in for both Ches and Braylon Allen last year as kind of the RB3, but I think it's going to be Ches. He's kind of built like an ox there, guys. He's got some big arms there. He's going to be good to go here. And so given the game total that we have, my one concern with this bet would be the potential that this game actually becomes a little bit of a blowout too fast. And we do have to worry about the other running backs getting some work then as well. So there is that concern. But this is not going to be a strong PrizePicks bet. I want to make that clear. This is going to be a bet that you would want to make on one of the other sports books if you guys had that availability. DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM. But I will say, these two together don't really make sense why they're so close. I think it's going to be one or the other. It's either going to be Walker having a really good game. Maybe Walker ends up getting a little bit more work than Ches. I doubt it. I think we're going to expect Ches to be the RB1, and thus I do like that over. Again, if you guys want to do that more so on another site, you can do that. But that concludes the Badgers portion of this video. Apologies for how long that is. Do want to call it a promo code that is currently going on the 9 to 5 website. Get 20% off your first 9 to 5 membership by using the promo code Keep Cashing. I am doing 20% because we reached 20K on YouTube. I do appreciate that support, guys. It's been able to help the channel grow. And another way you guys can help the channel grow is by using the promo codes listed here. We got the PrizePicks promo code. Use the promo code the number 9 TO5. And then also for Underdog, spell out 925. Okay, take advantage of those promo codes because there's a lot of deals going on right now on both sides. We got Travis Kelce free square, and we also have 4 discount squares available as well, guys. So take advantage of those. And then on PrizePicks as well, we have Caleb Williams free square. Travis Hunter just popped up for PrizePicks. We have Sanders already. It's a good time to sign up. And you guys know I would never encourage really anyone to spend money really just in general. I know people watch this because they're going to be placing bets, but I never like to encourage. I don't know, it just comes off weird to me, but this is the time to take advantage of the discounts that are available. And by using those promo codes, you're going to be spending your own money, but you're also not, because you're going to be getting free money. So it's nice. And so now let's go ahead and jump back into the board here. And so we're going to jump into this TCU versus Stanford game. And we are only going to be getting prop bets for TCU, which is fine. What we're going to notice, though, is that we're not really getting that many huge edges for them in general, which it's a little bit unfortunate. I don't love that. I will say I do kind of like some of the bets that we are getting, at least on the board. Now, this was yesterday, at least. The lines have come down a little bit, but I would still kind of like the under for Williams receiving yards. He is someone that last year, at his original line, when I made the notes for this video, was at 67.5. He only got that over twice last year. And it is a different year, I get that, but I still think I'd be fine with the under here at 65.5. Obviously, the edge is reduced a decent amount, only about a 50.5% chance to hit. Again, it's a 4-game slate. Part of why we're playing this is to have a good time, right? I mean, that's what we're shooting for. A lot of the times, a lot of people are. There's different slates that'll be profitable and in terms of how we should attack and whatnot. This is not one where we should be going crazy with. If you guys want to add this into a 5-slip bet to make it a 6-slip bet, that's kind of how I would go about using it, okay? But we can see the projection data, about 50 for his projection line there. And so, yeah, it does seem to be that this line is a little bit too high still. But again, it has been brought down from what I was originally thinking it would be. Now, another one that I find interesting here as well is going to be looking at Richardson to get under 4.5 receptions. We're currently not getting any sportsbook data on this just yet from DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, PointsBet, all the different sportsbooks that I pull in data to be able to see if we're getting an edge or not. We're currently not getting those lines for him just yet. But looking at his log from last year, he only got this over 4 times last year. Okay, so 8 out of 12 times, 12 games last year, he got the under. So a decent line there. I don't think we have to go crazy with it, but if you guys want to use that, you could. Now, the one thing that I don't like about those two bets is that I kind of like Josh Hoover for his over passing yards. Again, this is one where yesterday when I was doing my notes for this video that I was planning on releasing a little bit earlier today, his passing yards prop was at 278.5. It has since went up 3. I still think we are potentially getting a decent spot there. And I do want to pull up his player profile on DraftKings as well, just to show you guys the opponent rank as well. He is going against the easy opponent in Stanford there. Their pass defense wasn't good last year, not expected to be good this year as well. And so we kind of look at his game log as well. He was someone that did consistently crush this over for the most part, especially in games where they were putting up points, okay? So that's kind of what we're looking at. As long as this game ends up being as high scoring as Vegas is thinking, 61 points and about an 8-point spread. So not too terrible in terms of the potential for a blowout. I don't mind that over. Again, though, that doesn't really correlate with those 2 receiver props that we have. So if you guys like one of those 3 bets that I just kind of called out to you, as I like them, but maybe you like them a little bit more, don't pair them together because it doesn't really correlate. That doesn't really make sense. Then we jump into that first game here, which is going to be FAU versus MSU. And we are only getting props for Michigan State, which is fine. But what you'll notice is that we're not getting a lot of lines for them. As many as you would probably think from the Spartans. And part of that is going to be because you look at the running back split, there is most likely going to be a running back split between Carter and Adams. Now, in a game where they're 11.5-point favorites in a low-scoring game as well, you kind of think it's going to be more of a run game there. I don't want to touch that one. And then we also have a tight end receiving yard prop that I don't feel like we need to go in on as well. The one that does interest me a little bit is Aiden Childs. Childs transferred in from Oregon State, I believe. Yeah, it's Oregon State. And he was someone that last year was just used sparingly for them as well. So we don't really have a good indication of what a full game would look like from him. So the lines, we are seeing some decent prop line differences for him. And so his passing yards is off by 4. And if we look at the average sportsbook line, it tells us that it should probably be in the middle. That's why we're seeing Underdog be a little bit higher and PrizePicks be a little bit lower. That does make sense. But we look at the projection data. The projection data is favoring the over there. So again, if we want to, try to find a bet for the slate, again, 4-game slate where we're not getting that many bets for every team, I'm kind of okay with that over. If we're trying to, have fun with it, I think we got good edges with the Badgers props. I would be fine using this one as well. Now, one of the better bets that we have popping up on the 9-5 PrizePicks cheat sheet is going to be from this next game where we're looking at the over receiving yards. This is mostly due to the prop line difference that we're getting between both Underdog line and also the average sportsbook line and the projection line. Like the PrizePicks line that we're currently getting is just vastly too low. And so I'm going to shift into Underdog a little bit more for this game because we are just getting a little bit more lines for them. But that is really just going to be the best bet, simply put, on PrizePicks out of this game. Now, if we want to go the opposite way, we have Burks on the other side of it where his line's off compared to the average sportsbook line where they're favoring the over slightly at 72. I mean, that's a half a yard difference, not that big. But PrizePicks has this line set at 75.5. Then the projection data likes that at 77. So not like too crazy big edges with these two. But if you guys have an idea of which way you want to go with these two, by all means attack them. I feel like it is maybe a little bit of trying to get lucky. So maybe bet the over for Burks on PrizePicks and then do the opposite. Bet the over for Burks on Underdog and then do the opposite on PrizePicks. And then just real quickly, while we are here on Underdog, let's just go ahead and take a peek at all the best prop bets that we currently have on Underdog. This is going to be for the Friday game, so it probably will be gone by the majority of you guys getting in here and watching this. So did just want to show you guys this to see if there's any bets that are standing out to you guys that you may want to use. And then we'll do the same here on PrizePicks where we're taking out the Friday only game and just zooming it out to the full slate of games. And you guys will be able to see that a little bit better now as well. So now with it, guys, let's go ahead and get into the bets of the day for both sites. So let's go ahead and start out with the Underdog bets up here. Again, looking at Chez, I think we have a good chance for him to have a very good game rushing the football. And we are seeing a slight prop line difference for his rush receiving yards between PrizePicks and Underdog. I want to be betting on him. You could also bet him to get over his rushing touchdown or anytime touchdown. Now it's only a 0.95 payout, so it's not as good, but he's like a 60% chance to score a touchdown if that game's going to be that high scoring and they're going to be up by that much. I do expect him to be able to score a rushing touchdown. He did average a touchdown per game last year while he was healthy. And these other two are mostly just taking advantage of two prop line differences. I'm kind of okay with that. And you guys will see kind of doing the opposite on PrizePicks. I will say I do like it a little bit better on PrizePicks. The slate a little bit better, But just a reminder, guys, use the promo codes here before we go ahead and get into the PrizePicks bet of the day. And so again, I want to call this out. These two probably do not correlate, okay? But I do want to highlight what my 6 favorite bets are for you guys, and that's what I'm doing. Again, I would say that these two are just the 2 best ones on the board. That's what the data is saying, and I personally agree with that. Now, that could be just me being a little bit too zoomed in on the Badgers, being a Badgers fan, and probably having a little bit of bias there. That could very well be the case. Just fair warning. It is the first week of college football. You know, it's kind of a wait and see approach. And then Aiden Childs, again, just mostly like the prop line difference that we're getting there, projected to get well over that. And then just kind of doing the opposite here for Oklahoma. We bet on the over receiving yards for the other 2. Hopefully one of the 2 are right? Like, hopefully either the 2 on Underdog get their over, or this one gets us over on PrizePicks. So that's going to be all for this video, guys. Appreciate you being here. Good luck on your College Football Friday. Make sure to give a like and subscribe to the channel. That does help me to keep growing and being able to keep providing you guys more and more, both content-wise and on the 9 to 5 website as well. All right, thanks for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.